messing around. You got an eye patch, perhaps?
The pirate. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. I just want to say this out loud. Okay. I'm very excited about this episode. So I just want to say this out loud to you, Lamorne.
Yes.
Our next episode that we're going to do is the finale.
Mm-hmm.
It's cruise.
Ooh,
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will be up in Canada when we record that episode. And I have this idea because it's the season 3 finale, right? And I remember shooting that on the Queen Mary. Yeah. Being stuck on that big haunted, creepy boat. And I thought for cruise, when we do the podcast, I know what you're going to say. So just try to not destroy me right now. Okay. Just try to be kind. I'm going to say the words and you're going to start. I will do the podcast from my boat. Stop. I see you can't help yourself. And you can do it from like a flamingo floaty in your pool.
Hannah,
and we can just do the podcast on water and record cruise. Because cruise was one of the craziest, made no sense, insane, ridiculous
Hannah.
New Girl episodes ever to record. And I feel like our podcast should reflect it when we record. Now you can make fun of me for having a boat.
Hannah, are you hearing yourself right now? The elitism. You just said, I'm going to record the podcast from my boat. Hannah, do you know how hard it is to get a boat? First of all, let's talk about a boat and how much the maintenance is in order to keep a boat. You know what I mean? People don't even own boats. They charter these boats because billionaires don't even own a lot of these boats because they go, it's a waste of money. Hannah, you have so much money that you are leaving one home to go to another home and then go record from your boat in another country. I just want you to sit with this in this moment and shame on you for all those years that I harassed Zoe about having a private jet. Even she doesn't. And you were sitting here thinking, oh, I have an even worse investment. It's a boat. And you never said anything about it?
It's a worse investment. Well, because Hannah. I know who I'd be talking to if I told you. Leave me in my little boat alone. Here's the thing. Here's the truth of it. You're going to sit there and you're going to record that podcast with me from your flamingo floaty in your pool. And you're going to see me on a kayak.
Yeah.
Technically.
I got a pool, but I ain't got no flamingo floaty.
So that's my pitch for how we record the cruise. Because that episode, even thinking about recording is stressing me out.
Hannah, your Wi-Fi is already bad enough.
This is true. I can't cop to how good the podcast will be.
Although I did just get asked if I wanted to be on, and I can't make it, to be on an episode of a show that I hadn't seen yet called Below Deck.
What?
Oh, if you want to do it.
Lamorne, you got asked to be on Below Deck?
Yes. They said.
I'm going to pass out.
Can you do it instead of me?
I'll do it with you.
2 days in the where are they going to be? The Caribbean? 2 days in April?
They will destroy you though. That's the point of the show.
What do you mean destroy you?
They'll it's fun. You get to go with your friends and whatever, but they kind of that's the fun of it is they kind of gonna tear you down.
Talk shit a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's the show. Down if they tried. Testicles out. What you gonna say?
Ooh, that's so fun though.
Yeah, but if you want to do it, Hannah, invitation.
I don't want to do it because I watched the show and I'm too sensitive to put myself out there like that. Too fragile.
Anyway, let's jump into this episode, shall we?
All right.
The episode is 322. Dance.
I remember this episode.
Ooh, such a good one. Such a funny one.
Such a funny one.
Now, in this episode, Jess calls on the troops to help out with chaperoning her school dance. As you can imagine, this goes horribly wrong, resulting in Nick getting a buzz off a deadly soda concoction, Schmidt challenging a student to a foot race, and Winston being flocked by a bunch of teenage girls, leaving Coach and Cece to pick up the pieces when the dance is in jeopardy of not happening. Let's go. Directed by Trent O'Donnell. Oh, written by Rebecca Adelman and Ryan Coe.
The best.
Two of the greats. Trent's also one of the greats. Whenever I see Trent's name on it, when he's directing, I always know that I will have an easy time shooting.
I know.
He knows your strengths, your weaknesses. He's not going to push you to do stuff that you can't do or it's going to make you uncomfortable. And and it makes you more comfortable when you start to do stuff that you probably didn't think we're capable of doing. So I whenever I see his name on something, I go, this is going to be an easy week and a fun one.
He's the greatest. He's the greatest. There's a reason why he is basically, like a cast member on New Girl. He's like such a central figure in the New Girl family. He's the best. He's the absolute best. So another great episode. And I think they probably gave this one to him because it was like a trickier one. It wasn't in the loft. It wasn't the usual stuff. It had so many little moving parts to it. And of course, it's a great episode. Good job, Trent.
Great job, Trent.
So we're on the heels of a breakup, right? Jess and Nick have broken up. It's over and it's out. Everybody knows. But life goes on and work goes on.
Like that they always. How many times they break up? A lot.
A few.
So stupid. I love when she unrolls the banner for the school dance at the top of the thing when you guys are sitting down at the top of the episode. And it's a lot of evers. Love is forever, ever, 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 ever. And there are 12 evers. And it's very clear that we are in a show about relationships. Because here we go again. Here we go again. Shocker. They broke up. And she's trying to deal with it. And she wants to have this school dance. It's very, very important to her. She wants the students to have an incredible time. And in that moment, Coach Winston and Schmidt, they walk into the living room. Schmidt picks Jess up and he coddles her.
This hug, are we going to talk about it? What's happening? Why did she go so limp?
Because she doesn't want to be touched in that moment. And she wasn't expecting a hug. So she's just like, you're going to do what you're going to do, I guess.
She does the toddler flop.
And then Winston's like, he's got hug number 2, locked and loaded, hard or soft. Such a strange line. Such a strange line.
This next scene in the makeshift sauna where they're having a schwitz was so funny to me and caught me off guard because I did not remember this ever being on our show. Sexual tension between Schmidt and Nick.
Oh yeah.
In the bathroom, sweating it out together.
Just sweating it out. Nick says he misses goofing around with Jess. They've come up with a new rule where they can't be in the room alone together unless it's with Winston because he naturally takes the sexual tension out of a room. I take a lot of this personal. I do. I take a lot of this personal, which is why, and this is the writer's fault. So what I did was I made it my life's mission, and I've completed it, to sleep with every New Girl writer. How's that sexual tension, you guys?
I mean, Berkeley told me you were one of the best.
She got that long hair.
This bit that Nick talks about where he's now trying to start to take care of himself is eating a lot of salads.
Yeah.
just mainly the proteins, which is just chopped up pieces of ham and no lettuce because the lettuce is disgusting. He's just eating huge chunks of ham.
You know what? That's what Lily does. That's what Lily does. So I'll make like a little salad for her, but it's really just chopped cucumbers. I'll have like pulled chicken, and like a little bit of rice, some beans. I'll put it all in like a little thing, and I'll call it a salad. And I'll be paying attention while she's only eating the chicken, right? And then she'll say, "I ate my salad today." And I'll go, "Lily, no, you didn't. You just ate the chicken."
You said the chicken.
She said the cucumbers, because the cucumbers has seeds in it. She goes, I don't want it. It's got the white things on it. I go, "Lily, that's the cucumber. That's the cucumber." Like, I don't want it.
That's what cucumber is.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want it. Oh man. But anyway,
Schmidt is talking to Nick while they're schwitzing. Schmidt saying he's confused because he doesn't understand how Cece could want a 20-year-old over his ripe berries. Ugh. Then when he comes in, he says he needs a schwitz.
yeah. And then he asks why his sweat smells like asparagus. And then Schmidt confirms that he does take the sexual attention out of a room. And Winston's confused. And Lamorne was confused, quite honestly, because he says he heats up every room he walks into. You put him next to a dozen eggs, they hatching. And then Nick turns to Schmidt and lets him know that there was no sexual tension in the room before Winston came in between. Oh man, they gonna do it. They gonna do it one day. Now, Jess, she addresses the other teachers / chaperones for the dance, and then she thanks them. None of them volunteered. None of them. Now Jess is paying everyone in custom hats that she made that say chaperone, except for Gary the janitor. Gary says being a janitor isn't his whole identity. he calls Jess the third hottest white teacher. It's so funny. And then this is when we involve Coach in the mix because Coach knows how. I mean, they're friends. He knows how important the dance is to Jess, and he says these kids aren't going to get away with anything. If they want to bang, they're going to have to bang through me.
Then he says it again.
Yeah, he goes, "Oh, that's what I meant. If they're going to burn, they're going to have to bang through me." Yeah. Jess talks to one of her students, Wendy. Wendy. Now, her mom is making her go to the school dance. Wendy is going to wear a shark shirt to the dance. It's clear Wendy does not want to go to the dance.
Yeah.
That was kind of like me a little bit growing up when we had these dances. I would show up with every excuse not to go to them because I was like,
that was me too. I would never want to go to. No one ever asked me to dance.
Well, they knew you had no rhythm.
Word got out to the 11-year-olds. That girl can't dance. Oh my gosh. No one ever asked me to dance at a school dance when I was a kid. And so I would feel so shy.
Yeah.
So funny how you look back now. And now I'm like, thank goodness. It's so bad now.
And Hannah cannot dance. We're going to go to break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss why she never knew how to do so. And we are back. This is going on. Was this the third episode?
Third episode of Buster and Cece. I'm telling you, it makes me crazy. It's making me crazy at this point. Just watching it is making me crazy. And I actually enjoyed the fact now that the boys are just going to pile on and make fun of her because long overdue. This needs to be openly mocked.
100%. But, you're in good hands because Winston can't get the joke out.
He's a solid friend. He wants to, but he can't bring himself to do it.
He's like, just come back to me. Come back to me, please. I got something. Yeah. But Cece is like justifying it, saying that Buster is more of a man than all of them. Come on, man. He's been to 40 countries. He builds boats. He trains snakes. I mean, come on. Come on. Cece says all the boys do is hang out with each other like 12-year-old girls. Yes, men hang out with each other. We share ideas. Okay? We talk about how we're going to build the world. You know what I mean? A brave new world. That's what we do when we hang out.
It's definitely the Winnie, Nick, and Schmidt conversation.
Thank you for recognizing that. Thank you. Yeah, and then where are we at now, Jess?
We're back at the school, and unbeknownst to Jess, there is some sabotage happening. The gym is locked.
That's right.
In a way they cannot get it open, hoping that the dance will be canceled. That was the intention of this lock by whoever did it.
Yes.
But Jess will not be broken.
No, she will not be. So she calls Cece. That's right. She lets the boys know all the chaperones bailed on the dance and that this is a job for men to do. So they all chest bump. But when they chest bump, they hurt Winston's shoulder in the process. Which makes a lot of sense. As I'm saying that, I'm realizing that my shoulders actually do.
You got an ache. Yeah. You're an empath.
I know. I feel it. I feel the pain all over the world. You know what I mean?
Then this is a fun moment. It was a fun little character moment for Cece. New skills. Who knew she had? But she breaks open the lock with a tire iron. What? This is a mafioso kind of aspect. I love that it's only like Schmidt who's not surprised and is like delighted by it.
Yeah.
Coach is terrified.
This is my favorite part. Well, I don't know if it's my favorite part, but it's right up there. Coach tells the boys that they're under his control for the night.
Yeah.
That the little kids, these bastards, will hurt your feelings.
This pep talk.
It starts adding out. Schmidt is on snack duty and needs to make sure diabetic Amy gets only 2 cookies or she'll pass out. Schmidt's just like, she's gonna get no cookies. It's like, no, she actually needs.
She needs
cookies.
2.
She needs 2. And then Winston is on dance floor duty, and then Winston says that no one's getting pregnant tonight.
Why? So problematic.
And then Coach says that Nick isn't chaperone material. All right?
Oh.
Nick says that he can get into kind of a bad kid. Wait, he can go.
Get into the mind. The mind is an important part of that sentence.
Yeah, I was like, the kind of a bad kid. Whoa. Nick says that he can get into the mind of a bad kid and stop them before they do anything stupid. Right before that, was this the moment? This is what I think I wrote this down when Coach was like, we're going to have 6 inches of separation. And he does this. It's like, I have 6 inches of separation, and it's clearly a foot long. That is a bit that I always do whenever we're talking like distance or length about something. I do it in my regular life. I do it on my other podcast. I do it when I'm talking to people, and I can't help it. That if ever inches come up, I make them way bigger than what they actually are.
Does anyone call you out?
Yeah, Kyle does all the time. He's like, yeah, that checks out. That's about 3 inches right there. I'm like, yeah, 3 inches right. Anyway, which I do believe Damon improvised that moment. That with his his head. Oh, 100%. Now Winston hit the dance floor, right? And then Call Me Maybe comes on, and
catchy tune.
And he can't help himself. It's coming out of him.
Yeah.
Right. And then right before he gets into that big moment, Coach tells him to put his heat away. And he apologizes, but that's the problem. It's too late.
Too late. The girls now, middle school girls, they clocked it.
Yeah. Misplaced heat. You know what I'm saying?
Misplaced heat.
You got to keep that heat in your pocket. You know what I mean? And then they start chasing him. They start following him around like lost puppies. Which shooting this episode definitely felt like when I was in middle school. For sure.
Yeah, it was very strange to do it, and it's one of those things that's like marks the passage of time. You start to realize, like, oh, I'm, because it's real young actors that are there on the day, and you're like, oh, I'm so old to you.
Yeah, I'm 100.
It was a weird day because our show never really had children on it. And it was a weird day to be like, oh, these are like young aspiring actors that are like 10 or 11. They're so little. This to me was so, triggering because Schmidt then talks to Tommy, who is a bully, and calls him out of his name and is so mean and relentless towards Schmidt. You know what I loved about it, though, is I'm sorry, but there are some kids at that age that are just awful people.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, tell the truth on that. There are some kids, that's why some of us got bullied at school, even at that age, who are already fully in their personality of being awful people to young and old alike. And I was like, this character, I love, because it's
you should be able to. At that point, like he kept calling him a flamer, and he was roasting Schmidt.
Yeah.
At that point, a kid should be allowed to get punched in the throat. One solid shot. Pow! And you go, ooh, that's what life is like, bro. That's what life. You keep talking shit.
I couldn't believe how strange Schmidt was. I was like, you are holding it together in a way I didn't know Schmidt was capable of.
In my mind when rewatching it, I thought, wait, does Schmidt like hit him or something?
Right.
I thought like for some
What
reason, like
happens?
I was
You
like,
can't
he
just stand
does
there and take that.
punch
That's
him,
crazy.
right? Or like trip him down a flight of stairs. Something happens to this kid, right? But none of that happened. Which
None of
was
it happens.
Disappointing.
Then there's another act of sabotage. The lights go out.
Oof.
Jess and Cece poke their head out and they see one of the teachers running down the hall and they chase him.
Yep.
Cece then shows she's the toughest. And they go in to do good cop, bad cop. And in such funny writing, Jess's understanding of what's a good cop and what's a bad cop is so funny. They're all over the place.
Oh, man.
Try to interrogate him. Then there's Nick.
Oh, yeah. He comes outside. He's, again, trying to prove that he could be, he sees the kids outside drinking sodas. He's like, oh, you think I'm a roan, dude? Just short for chaperone.
So funny.
You think I'm a roan, dude? And then he's like, what you got? He's like, you got any juice? Any Mary Jane? And they give him some of the drink. He takes a sip and he spits it out. Now, this is something that all young kids can identify with. I'm not sure if this was just like a dude thing when we were kids, but we would go to the soda machine and we would mix all of them together. And when you think about it, it's actually just the same amount of sugar, just because it's all the same.
It's all the same.
But the flavor is so.
So is it a real thing to call it a suicide?
I don't know if that's what it was called. Because
I thought that what he was saying is like when he took a sip and spit it out, like, did you put something in here that could kill me?
No.
I didn't realize that's just like the name of a mix of sodas. Like that's what you call that.
Yeah. That's just the name.
Oh, funny.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I just thought he was like got scared for a second that what he was drinking could kill him.
Put arsenic in this?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But Schmidt goes back up to Tommy just to apologize to him. He's like, okay, you know what?
Oh, yeah, this moment.
But he gets on one knee, and this little boy, again, proceeds to roast him. It's like, I'm not going to marry you, dude.
He had to get down on one knee because that's how small this child is.
I know.
To speak face to face. That's how small this child is. And he still gets destroyed.
Gets destroyed by a
mean little kid.
And so Schmidt challenges him to a foot race in the parking lot. Meanwhile, this group of girls.
Also hysterical. Like, that's what you're going to do to prove a point to this child?
You're dealing with dudes.
A foot race?
What are you going to challenge
a grown man and a child. Okay.
A duel? Are you going to challenge him to a duel with old school pistols? No, old revolvers. I ain't going to race his little ass. And then beat him. And then, which is true, by the way, that's something that we used to do when we were kids. You talk shit.
Yeah, but if an adult challenged you to a race, you wouldn't be like, this feels unfair. Your legs are longer and you're bigger.
No. You should be faster if you're younger. Let's just
all right.
Unless they're Olympians. And then, meanwhile, this group of girls is grown. It's definitely doubled in size, and they are all smitten by everything that Winston says. Again, it's like life happens. And then, so Cece is not apologizing. She's like comforting Jess, right?
Yeah, they're having a real moment, and it's very sweet. She's like, look, you got to just let it go. Dance isn't going to be perfect. Again, she knows what this is really about. Like, Jess is trying to distract herself from this breakup, and she's trying to do this perfect, like, love is forever moment for these young people, so they believe in love and aren't jaded, and it's bigger than the dance. And Cece knows what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, meanwhile, Nick is high out of his mind on soda. So he's jumping off of cars. He's catching mad air, bro. Like, and the two kids show him something else.
Fireworks.
They turned it up a little bit. The soda is one thing, but now a pile of fireworks randomly. That's interesting and could have been potentially dangerous.
Very dangerous, like real dangerous.
100%. And then so Nick says that, hey, we can get into a lot of trouble for lighting the fireworks, which is why I gotta run really fast after lighting them. And he lights it. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was very underwhelming. I thought it would be a lot more because there was a lot of fireworks there. It was like 3 that went off. And I was like, oh. Nobody heard that.
They were running out of time on that night shoot. They're like, it's fine.
I know.
Just do
Let's just put a
something.
few. Yeah. Now Jess is with. So again, we're trying to find out who is sabotaging this dance, and it's not until Jess sees Wendy, the little
Mm.
girl from the beginning who didn't want to go, who wanted to wear a shark shirt to the dance. She was the culprit trying to sabotage the dance party because she thought that none of the boys wanted to dance with her.
Hmm.
Very, very sad.
And this
Very,
very
very sad.
sweet moment happens between the ladies, Cece and Jess and Wendy.
Mhm.
Where low key, Jess just says Cece knows a lot about men, like a lot about men,
That's right.
because she's very well traveled.
She's got some
So
miles.
shady.
She's got some miles on her.
So shady. She's got some miles on her.
I
I was
love
like,
it.
oh my
Oh my
gosh. It's very
god.
funny. And as you know, an adult and you're around kids talking in code can sometimes get shady. You're like, well, what do you actually mean?
Yeah.
Because have
Yeah.
you thought out what you're saying? And when you're trying to not say what you're saying, it's so fun and it's so sweet. And they're like, just so you know, boys are really dumb. So don't worry about what they think. And also because they're dumb, we can use them to save this dance and still have a great night.
That's right. And that's what they do. That's what they do. They call the
Mhm.
boys. Uh Meanwhile, they're about to race. We come outside, we see Schmidt, who calls himself the Hebrew cheetah, and they do the count off when the mark gets set, and then Tommy cheats.
Cheats.
Little bastard
Little
cheats.
jerk.
But Schmidt he catches up with him because Schmidt is a real sprinter. You know what I mean? But out of nowhere, Winston,
Yeah.
Willie the Dish, comes flying in,
This moment's so funny.
smoking him because he's flanked by 20 different little kids,
Yeah.
and he runs right up next to him. He's running for his life. He's
Yeah.
running for his life. Nick is at the same time being pushed in a grocery cart by his new best friends. Strange friendship they got going on. And then Coach comes out and blows his whistle, putting an end to all of this.
These are all the
madness.
chaperones. Just remember, these are the people chaperoning the dance.
Well, there's a
Are
reason
all
they
out there
shouldn't be.
causing and encouraging chaos in the parking lot.
There's a reason they shouldn't be. There's a reason.
Yeah.
They were a last. They were a last. They were like late additions
That's right.
to the party. Yeah, so they didn't get the training memo that they needed.
Yeah.
And coach is letting them know. He's like, "You guys are the worst. You're the
Yeah.
worst chaperones ever." And then Jess comes.
This is sweet.
I need you, stupid boys. I need you."
I loved it. It was
And
so
they
funny.
grab and they get on the microphone. Hannah, this
I don't want
part,
to talk about it. Honest to
Hannah,
gosh, I cringed and went underneath my pillows doing the rewatch.
I got
It's
it.
so for myself. Everybody else is fine. Just myself. I cringed. And I think the reason I remember this episode is because it was painful to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they
Hannah,
probably 80-yard me because I don't even
Hannah,
know
that
if
was
I
not
could
you
commit to it.
beatboxing.
No, they 80-yard someone else because I don't
Yeah.
think I could. It was, I was like anybody else, you guys.
But here's why I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny because to me, it was very clearly not you. It was a professional beatboxer. I was like,
It's not my voice, you guys.
"That's
It's not me. It might have
not
been
Hannah."
you. Honestly, they might have been like, "Hey, we'll change it. We'll like auto tune it." Lamorne,
mean-
can you just do this in your ADR session to help out Hannah? For
I
real?
was like,
It could be.
wow. But then here's the part that because this is how I know it wasn't. Here's how I know it wasn't you doing it. Because when they put my verse in, it was so offbeat.
Because there was no beat.
There was no beat that I
There was
was
no beat.
rapping to. They
On
added
the day,
in,
there was no beat.
yeah, I was like, why would you add in an off beat? Why don't you just have her switch it up? Is like whoever edit, no disrespect. Y'all
All I
never
was
heard
doing was this.
rap battles before. Yeah,
That's it.
I believe so. And so I was like, 'cause,
Silence.
you know, as
No
one of the
way.
greatest rappers of all time, I know for a fact I'm never offbeat. So that's what. Anyway, that's
I've never cringed. Even whoever was doing it for me, the whole thing was so cringe to watch for myself. It's very rare I have moments where I watch where I'm just like, I need to just disappear myself.
yeah. You
Um,
should have disappeared. On that.
I agree, 100%.
But yeah, then finally, a student brings a boom box, and then they get the real dance party going. Schmidt dances with Cece, Nick dances with Jess, Winston just
It's a
leaves,
fun
I
end to the
guess.
episode. It's a potty.
Yeah, it's a party. It's a party. Let's go to the break. Uh, babe,
Yeah, babe.
do you remember your first school dance? Anything in particular stick out
Mm.
from that first dance?
What I remember about my first school dance, it probably wasn't my first school dance, but the first one I remember, it was in Cyprus. And me and my best friend wanted to go wearing like matching outfits to the school dance.
Mm-hmm.
So we went and got these green, oversized, wide-legged jeans.
Ooh.
Okay, like huge, like
Right.
massive wide leg jeans. And wore it with like a belt. And then we wore it with like a really tight little white tank top. And we both showed up. And she was like freckled redhead,
Mm-hmm.
super cute. And then me was me. And we showed up to the dance and in the same outfit. And we felt very cool.
Did you get
Um,
laughed at, or are people like, that's cool?
I don't know if anybody noticed or cared.
But
But
you
we
did, and
felt
that's all that
very
matters.
cool.
Yeah, I don't quite remember my first one.
I should say it's because we love like TLC. It was like those like were like
I
who we were
see.
drawing inspiration from style wise, and we're like we're gonna look cool as hell at the dance. And everybody else, I think all the
Ah.
girls showed up in like dresses, and we were just
Ye
like, "You ain't ready for this crisscross and full effect." And they were just like,
Oh, no. Totally
"Nobody,
crossed
nobody
out.
cares about you guys. Stop." We tried. That's what I remember about my first school dance.
You were totally crossed out.
Yeah,
Um,
I know.
no, I can't quite remember my fir it's hard. This one is difficult because I went to a few of dances from other people's schools
Mm.
'cause, girls would invite me to those things,
Wow,
but
wow, wow.
nothing memorable. I could tell you one memorable moment from a prom that I went to this day, really close friend of mine. Shout out to Alexis Joy. I went to her prom senior year, um, and she lived in Indiana, so I drove to Indiana. Drove her father's car, who happened to be the preacher of our church at the time, so he let me borrow his Cadillac. And we were leaving the prom. We were going to head into Chicago to go to like a party or whatever.
Mhm.
And we're in this big caravan, so we're all following this truck that has its hazards on, and it's raining out. Now we're on the Calumet Freeway, I think, right over the river or something like that. Anyway, it's raining out. The conditions are not great. This truck that I'm following swerves out of the way last minute, and I slam on the brakes because there's a car just sitting in the left lane. There's two cars. None of them have their hazards on, and it's hard to see. So I notice it. I'm like, holy shit! Slam on the brakes. I get this close
Mm.
to the person, and he's standing in back of the car. I get this close to him. The car behind me hits me after I stop. I make a complete stop. The car behind me couldn't stop. Hits me into that person.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. It caused a big pileup on the freeway. They had to get the little jaws of life thing, crane thing to because the dashboard had collapsed on my legs.
Are you for real?
I'm for real. The guy ended up losing his leg. It was a mess. I was beat up. Like I was and and you know, what's crazy is that the guy had stopped to help a woman whose car had but none of them put their hazards on, right? And none of them moved all the way over to the shoulder. They just stopped in that lane. It was a really strange situation. So, uh, he ended up unfortunately losing his leg, but also getting a ticket. They
No.
they fined him. They didn't find me. They didn't find any of those drivers because it was like they had caused a hazard. Like they had stopped in the
Get
middle of the thing,
out.
and nobody thought to put their blinkers on, like their hazard lights on.
I
Yeah,
don't think you
that
need to give the man a ticket. He lost his leg.
hey, They tried. I think they tried to. Did they try to sue me? I think they tried to sue me.
No, I mean, you didn't see somebody.
Yeah, they. Yeah, I mean, it was.
Oh,
That was a moment.
That's why you don't dance?
No, that's why. That's why I stopped going to kids' proms. This was last year.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh man,
my
next
God.
week I'm gonna be on a boat and you're gonna be on a flamingo floaty in your pool.
You gotta send one to my house.
If I was here, we were in the same city. We would have done it together, hanging out in the hot tub. That would have been fun. But we're gonna figure out a way. Somehow we're gonna have water, you guys. I'm gonna get Lamorne to somehow have
I'll
water
do it in the shower.
Do it in the shower. Do it in your bath with little floaties on.
Oh yeah, I do that. I can do that.
All right,
Hannah,
we're gonna figure it out.
Hannah, you are ridiculous. You have a yacht and you haven't once
You're gonna
invited
see
me
the
to
boat.
a yacht.
Wait till you see, and then you're gonna sit there and you're gonna take a lot of this back. And then say what kind of boat, y'all. You don't have to tune in to see it. If I can make it happen. If I'm actually up there in Canada. But if it times out, it's gonna be fun. Well, thanks for listening, man. What a fun, weird little episode.
Oh,
Dance.
absolutely. Dance. Please make sure you guys follow us on Instagram. It's a great place to follow us. The Mess Around Pod.
Yeah, not in real life.
Yeah.
Please follow us on
yeah.
Instagram.
You know, it depends on who you are. I don't mind a little stalky stalk.
I care. Don't say that stuff.
I'm kidding.
Oh my Lord.
I'm
Unless
kidding.
you are Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz want to stalk me. I'm okay with that.
See, I guess there's exceptions.
Send your questions, your concerns, your videos if you're creeping outside of my house at themessaroundpod@gmail.com. We'll be back next week with episode 323.
Cruise.
Shout out Terry Crews.
That was The Mess Around, an iHeartMedia production.
Our executive producer is Joelle Monique. Our senior producer is Abu Zafar. Bei Wang provided engineering and editing services.
Additional production from Daniel Goodman, Wendy Heisler, and Kyle Chevron. Our theme song was written and composed by Ronald Jukebox Jackson.
Catch you next time.
Bye.